Welcome back to the vlog. Hope you guys are having an amazing day right now. This video is from the meetup game that we had at Bankers Casino with Doug McCusker and Andrew Locke. It had a great turnout. I got to meet some super cool people and got into some, we'll say, interesting hands. Let's just skip all the small talk. I know you guys want to see the hands. Let's hit the felt. So these hands are from the cash game on Saturday. We're playing 2-5 no limit and the buy-in was from 300 to 1500. It actually plays pretty big. First hand we get into, we have pocket jacks in the hijack. There's a limp under the gun. I raise to 25, big blind and limper call. So we're going to a flop. The flop is 4-4-7 with 2 spades. It checks to me. I bet 30. Big blind calls, limper folds. So we're going heads up to the turn, which is an offsuit 6. Now, obviously this brings in some straight draws. He checks and I check back for pretty much pot control. River is the ace of clubs. Not really a great card, but he checks, and now I think I need to value bet here. I place a bet for 40. I think he could probably have a 7, maybe a 6, probably not an ace, or he would have bet the river. Luckily, he makes the call, I show, and he mucks his hand. The next interesting hand that we get into, I pick up queen 10 off in the cutoff. I open raise to 20 after it gets folded to me, button and small blind call. So we're going 3 ways to the flop, which is 10, 9, 7 rainbow. We flop top pair, have a backdoor straight draw. So let's try to get some money in here. I bet 20, button calls and small blind folds. So now we're going heads up to a turn, which is not the greatest turn. It's a 6. So now there's a one-liner to the straight. I check and he checks back. The river, it pairs the board. It's another 9. Now, I don't think I can bet here. I check because I don't really beat much. All 10s that call a raise pre-flop beat me, like ace 10, king 10, 10, 8. The only 10 I beat really is jack 10. All other 10s probably don't even call pre-flop. Furthermore, all 9s beat me now too. Luckily, he checks back. I table my hand and he mugs. Here's a pretty crazy hand that comes up. I pick up pocket 3s in the big blind. Under the gun limps. It folds all the way to the small blind and he raises to 25. Of course, I make the call, and under the gun now basically min clicks it to 50. It's kind of a weird play. I mean, that's usually represented with aces and kings and that sort of hand. But then why would he only make it 50? Kind of weird. Not too sure what's going on. But small blind calls and then I make the call. The flop is 3-4 ace with 2 diamonds. We hit bottom set. Such an amazing flop. Obviously we're hoping that he has ace king, ace queen, whatever it may be. We want him to have 1 ace. The small blind checks, I check, and under the gun actually checks back. So now we go to a turn. The turn is the 9 of clubs. Such a perfect card. Small blind leads for 50, and now I want to get some money in. I raise to 175. Under the gun folds, and small blind thinks for a while, but puts in the re-raise to 400. I put in the chips for the call and then realize he still has about 40 or so behind. Whatever. The river is a queen of hearts. He puts in the rest. Obviously, I make the call, and he shows pocket 4s. Wow. Are you kidding me? Set over set? Such a nasty spot. Such a big cooler. In the big blind now with queen 10 of hearts, there's a couple of limps. There's a raise in middle position, cut off and button call. I make the call, and one of the limpers also calls. So we're going to a flop, and the flop is jack 4-7 with 2 hearts. We flop a flush draw and 1 over. Pretty good flop, but out of position. So when it gets to me, I check, and actually it gets checked all the way around. The turn is an amazing card. It is the 8 of hearts. We bink our flush. It checks to me, and I bet 65. It folds all the way to the cutoff, and he raises to 190. Now I'm thinking, what can this guy have, right? When it gets back to me, I should probably make the call. It's a little bit too nitty to fold here. But before I can even make my decision, the small blind tanks for a little bit and then puts in the call. What the hell could he have here? Maybe a smaller flush, maybe a set, maybe a straight. Either way, I can't fold yet. Even if I'm behind, I've got 1 out to hit the straight flush, right? I could also have the best hand here, so I make the call. The river is a 3 of hearts, which now brings the 4th heart. Now any ace of hearts or king of hearts beats me. This kind of sucks. The small blind checks, which is a good thing. It means he probably didn't call with just the lone ace of hearts. I do have to check because the cutoff could have it on the come. So I check, and he actually checks back. Small blind tables his hand quickly. King 4 of hearts. Oh my god, this is a pretty gross hand. So disgusting. So now in this next hand, we've actually done a table switch. We're at a new table now. Everyone's drinking, everyone's having fun. We're also playing the 7 deuce game, which brings a different dynamic to the game, and we pick up ace queen off under the gun. I raise to 20, hijack calls, button calls, and the small blind calls. So we're going 4 ways to the flop, which is 4 9 ace with 2 spades. It checks to me, and of course I place in the C bet for 25. Hijack and button both call. So now we're going 3 ways to the turn, and the turn is a great card. It's the Queen of Hearts. It does bring a backdoor heart draw, but obviously I hit top 2 pair. So now I want to get some value. I want to get some money in the pot. I lead for 105. The hijack basically snap calls me, and the cutoff folds. So now we're going heads up to a river, which is the Deuce of Hearts. This is actually a pretty good card. Yeah, it does bring the backdoor flush, but it's a perfect card in my head. I'm thinking, what can I get him to call? What type of hand does he have? Maybe he has a big ace. Maybe he has smaller 2 pair. I don't know, but I'm trying to go for super value, and I settle for a price. I lead again for 240, and basically get snap called again. I table my hand because I think I won this hand, and he shows 9-7 of hearts. My god, how many hands in a row is this gonna be? Jeez, first it's a cooler, second it's a cooler, and then a huge suck out. This session is not going the way I expected it to go. Somehow I gotta rally. I gotta make a comeback. The session is coming to an end. It's getting close to dinner time, and I'm about to get something to eat with a couple of friends and some of the vloggers. So this is probably going to be the last hand, and we pick up ace 7 of spades in a $25 bomb pot on the button. The flop is queen jack 3 with 2 spades. This is a pretty good flop. Seems like there might be a lot of action, but obviously everyone's ranges is wide open. So it checks to me, and I bet 45. It folds to the small blind, and he races to 175. Folds back to me, and I gotta see if I can bank a spade here, so I make the call. And the turn comes the 10 of spades. Let's go. He ships it all in. He has me covered, and I have a little over 400. I obviously make the call. He shows jack 3 for 2 pair. I'm dodging 4 outs, and the way this session has been going, I doubt I'm gonna win this pot. I can just feel the jack coming out on the river. The dealer peels 5th Street, and it's the 4 of diamonds. Wow, what a nice win. This was the last hand of the night for me, and it's time to eat dinner, but it was such a relief to at least come out with a win at the end. The next day, we played a $365 bounty tournament. Each bounty was worth $1,000, which is a super big amount. There were bounties on each vlogger and one of the owners. Needless to say, anytime I was involved in a pot, people were gunning for me. Unfortunately, my phone storage was maxed out from recording hands the previous day, so I didn't capture any hands. But there wasn't really much to talk about that tournament. Never had more than a 1.5x starting stack. I got blinded out, and the final hand was me shoving about 10 bigs under the gun with ace jack off and +2 calling me with queens. Obviously, we never improved. All in all, this event was a success. I had a ton of fun, even though I booked a loss of approximately $1,200. Shout out to JC and the ownership group at Bankers Casino for hosting and being so accommodating to us. Glad we were able to make this happen after months of organizing and brainstorming. Hopefully we can do this again sometime soon. Until next time, guys, you know what it is. Don't be ducking it. Run like Usain Bolt.